Hello from Philville. This is Phil Montgomery from Philville Honeybees. Here's a neat scenario. Down here on the end, I have a big hive, and what I have done is I checked them. They just got done with apiguard. What I've learned that everybody gets beat up in apiguard. They come out of it. Some of them come out a little sick, some of them don't, but they all shrink because they don't give brood for, I don't know, it seemed like 5 to 8 days, something like that. So what I did was this one down here is 2 frames of bees, 2 frames of brood. So that means it's on its way to being 5 or 6 frames. And so what I did, I took this one down here was about 8 and 4. So what I did, I took their wimpiest frame of cap brood. I brought it down here, and instead of just sticking my bees right in, because this hive that I took it from, they can be a little bit testy. What I did was I took that frame and I dumped them down here, and I got this little piece of vinyl flooring to go on here. And then what'll happen, the bees will come and they'll sit there for a while trying to figure out what's going on. I let the older bees, because I threw them on the ground, the older bees flew home. Now if you look, they sit out there for a while, and there's one guard just kind of going around everybody and checking them out. And then what you'll see here in just a minute, they're going to go ahead and start getting in. You want to make sure and put that brood, since I'm dealing with a small hive, it only had 2 frames of brood. I stuck that frame of brood right next to it, right next to the other 2 frames of brood. The temperatures are going to get ready to be in the 40s and 50s at night. And so you want to make sure that you stick all the frames of brood together. That way that you have the ability to, for them to stay warm. This is one of those hives, may make it, may not. I really like how it looked, and they looked very healthy. And so what I'll end up doing is I have about 6 hives right now that are 3 frames or less, and I have to pick what looks the healthiest, not necessarily the biggest, but the healthiest. And what I need to do is I need to combine some of those. So if you look, there's one guard trying to check everybody. There's one guard, and now just little by little they'll start going in, and eventually what they'll do is they'll all go in. They'll just go in marching line. See, they're asking, hey, I don't know what happened, I don't know where I am. These are young bees, these are nurse bees, and they're going to bag their way in. Another thing that I did in this bucket right here, I have a bunch of bees in this bucket. I'm getting ready to do a mite check on these bees. When you throw them in a 5-gallon bucket, they can't crawl out, or if they can, they have a hard time with it, like every step by step. And the ones that can't fly yet, they usually get left in there. I ran out of I used Dawn dishwashing liquid, and I ran out. And so I got to run and get some of it real quick so I can do the mite wash. I found the queen. I put her in her own little box while I was fixing the box, and then I put her in by hand. I just picked her up. Don't be afraid to pick up your queens. Just be gentle and get used to it. At first, I was scared to death. Used to make me super nervous, and then after a while, you get used to it. It's no big deal. I have learned one trick though, is make sure your fingers are clean. If they're real sticky with honey, clean them off, or if you're hillbilly like me, just spit on them, wipe them on your pants, because that honey can booger up their wings. So I had one, I messed her wings up because I picked her up and then her wings stuck to my sticky fingers, and that messed her wings up. So you don't want to do that either. I hope these tips have helped you some. Another thing is when, after you've done your mite check, you always want to make sure that you check, or your mite treatment, you always want to make sure you check for mites. The other day I had a mite treatment. I'm not sure, I might have even missed this hive, and then did a check and had 6 mites out of 300, which is too many. So I had to go give them another treatment. So don't always, just take for granted that your mite treatment works, or when you get a lot of hives, you may miss 1 or 2. I could have very easily missed it. So you want to check for mites again after your apiguard. Another thing I've seen is that the bees all seem to be to one side of the box or the other after apiguard. I don't know why that is, but that's how they seem to be. So you want to also recenter them. This is your last chance to recenter them. Make sure you have honey and pollen on the outside, and then put the empties on the inside. And what you want to do not checkerboard them late into the year. This for where I'm in Ohio, and this is September the 7th. So you don't want to checkerboard them, because these cold nights, the bees will get separated and you may lose some of your brood. So put them together, but put empty comb on the outside. You also want to look for partial frames that are not fully built. And what you want to do is you want to put them in the next box up and then keep feeding them. Hopefully it'll finish them. But in the bottom, if you have a double deep or even a double medium or triple medium, you always want your partial frames on the top and your ones that aren't built on the, or the ones that are fully built on the bottom, especially at the end of the season when there's a so-so chance they're going to build it or not. I hope these tips have helped you. Please subscribe, like the video, tell me what you think, and help me get started in YouTube. I'm a little bit new to it. Thanks a lot and be blessed.